All right, welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into The Seeker of Nothing
Very cool.
by Kabir Munjal. And this is a story of a warrior's quest for inner peace. The author uses this kind of fantastical adventure story
Yeah.
to explore like universal truths that I think we can all kind of relate to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's one of the things that makes these excerpts so compelling. You're drawn in right away by these characters.
Right.
We've got Andahar, who is this, tormented warrior, haunted by his past, kind of seeking refuge in, rum and isolation
Yeah.
on his brother's ship.
He's been on this ship for 7 years.
7 years, yeah. It really makes you wonder, right? Like, what kind of event could lead someone to seek that kind of solitude for that long?
Yeah, for sure. It's like he's trying to drown out whatever's going on inside. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you have his brother, Nedhar, who's like the complete opposite.
Right.
He's compassionate, and he's determined to help Andahar heal.
Yeah.
And I think it's this dynamic between the brothers that really sets the stage for the journey ahead.
Yeah, it's a great point. And then, we introduce this mysterious box, right? This golden box. It's adorned with all these jewels. It's got this ancient emblem on it.
Yeah.
And it was entrusted to Nedhar by his dying mentor
Okay.
with this wish, right? To deliver it to the king of Tabletron.
Okay.
And what's so interesting here is that it's not just a task, right? It becomes this beacon of hope for Nedhar, like this chance to maybe pull his brother out of this,
Out of this spiral.
self-destructive spiral.
It's a chance for both of them, it seems like.
It seems that way, yeah.
But would you want to leave the comfort of a ship that you've been on for 7 years
Right.
if you were Andahar?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's been in isolation for so long, so
Yeah.
of course we see that reluctance in him.
Yeah, big time.
And it's in that reluctance that we start to see those, first glimpses of his internal struggle, right?
Yeah.
He agrees to deliver the box, but you can tell it's not out of any sense of purpose or belief. It's more like he's just going through the motions.
Yeah. So they set off on this journey, and they end up in this bustling city called Corcusia.
Corcusia, yeah.
And it's in Corcusia that they encounter Elar. He's this young servant
Right.
who has faced, unimaginable abuse.
And awful. Yeah.
And here we see something kind of unexpected from Andahar, right?
Yeah.
He's this gruff guy. He's
Yeah.
going through all this internal stuff. But he takes Elar under his wing.
He does.
What do you make of that? This act of kindness.
Well, I think it speaks to this contradiction within Andahar's character.
Right, yeah.
On the surface, he's this hardened, cynical warrior, but underneath, there's this empathy, this, flicker of humanity that shines through, especially in his interactions with Elar.
Right. And I think it makes you question, could this be the start of something for him? Could this be the start of his own healing?
I think so. I think it's a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
And from there, they journey on and they end up in this cursed forest. The forest of Santa.
This isn't your average forest.
Right.
It's like twisted trees, lurking shadows.
Yeah, it's described as having this eerie silence that just kind of presses in on you. And they encounter a talking snake.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
Well, snakes, right, often symbolize temptation, deception. And it's almost as if the forest itself is testing Andahar's resolve.
Yeah.
Forcing him to confront his deepest fears and insecurities.
I see. It's like a test, right?
A test, yeah.
And then it gets even more challenging because they have to cross this mystical lake, Lake Faunlius.
Right, Lake Faunlius, yeah.
But it's not just any lake. It's got these shimmering waters that hold ancient secrets.
Yeah.
And these mermaids who are, not the sweet, innocent mermaids of fairy tales. They're actually pretty intense.
Pretty intense, yeah.
They challenge his beliefs.
They do. They challenge his beliefs, his intentions, everything. And what's so interesting is that they, with their, alluring songs and promises of hidden treasures, they tempt him with exactly what he thinks he wants, right? Escape from his pain.
Yeah.
But in doing so, they force him to confront the emptiness of those desires. They make him question, are these desires really his? Or are they just a way to avoid dealing with his past?
Right. They're almost like a distraction in a way.
Exactly. It's a brilliant way to show how we can be lured by things that look appealing on the surface, but might actually be leading us further from what we truly need.
Yeah. Makes you think about your own choices, doesn't it?
For sure. Yeah. It highlights how easy it is to get caught up in those distractions and quick fixes, without really addressing the root cause of the pain.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of challenges, they go from this mystical lake to like the most desolate place imaginable.
A scorching desert.
A scorching desert.
Just like they've gone from one extreme to another.
You can almost feel that desperation, right? Like they're exhausted, they're battered.
Right.
And now they're facing this really harsh reality of survival in this incredibly unforgiving environment. It really makes you wonder, how are they going to find their way? And what will they learn from this experience?
It's quite a shift, isn't it? From those mystical forests and mermaid-infested lakes to this, like, completely barren landscape.
You can almost feel their exhaustion and vulnerability.
Absolutely. And it's in this moment of, utter desperation that they encounter a caravan, like a lifeline in this vast emptiness.
Right, but this isn't just any ordinary caravan, is it?
No, not at all. It's a community that's completely unlike anything Andahar has ever experienced.
So tell me more about this community. What makes them so unique?
Well, what's really striking is their emphasis on inner peace and harmony. Instead of the violence and cynicism that Andahar is accustomed to, this community really embraces meditation, chanting, and like this deep understanding of the universe.
It's like the complete opposite of everything he's known.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, could this be the antidote to that darkness that's been consuming him?
It's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Could this be the key to him finally confronting those inner demons?
It might be. And at the heart of this community is the elder, this wise figure who becomes like a guide for Andahar.
Okay, so what kind of guidance does the elder offer?
Well, it's not about simple solutions or like quick fixes. Instead, he introduces Andahar to these 7 secrets of the universe.
The 7 secrets of the universe. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about these secrets.
Well, they're not just these mystical pronouncements. They're more like profound insights into the nature of existence, concepts that I think we can all relate to and apply to our own lives.
Okay, so what's the first secret?
The first secret is the power of choice.
The power of choice. What does that mean exactly?
Well, the elder explains to Andahar that he's always had the power to choose how he responds to life's challenges.
Okay, so he's challenging that victim mentality.
Exactly. He's suggesting that Andahar isn't just a pawn of fate, but an active participant in shaping his own destiny.
That's a pretty powerful realization.
It is. And it can be both liberating and terrifying, right? Because it means you're responsible for your choices.
And that can be a heavy burden to bear.
Absolutely. Especially for someone like Andahar, who's spent years blaming others for his misfortune.
Especially when it comes to Narcia's death.
Exactly. And that brings us to the second secret, the interconnectedness of all things.
The interconnectedness of all things. Okay, I'm listening.
The elder explains that everything in the universe is connected, that every action has a ripple effect, and that even those seemingly random events have a purpose.
Okay, so how does Andahar react to this concept?
Well, he struggles with it at first. He wants concrete answers, He wants a clear explanation for why his life has unfolded the way it has.
It's like trying to make sense of a giant puzzle when you only have a few pieces.
Exactly. And the elder, instead of giving him all the pieces, is teaching him how to look for the connections, the patterns, the underlying order that might be hidden from view.
I see. So through this lens of interconnectedness, is Andahar able to start making sense of his pain?
He begins to, yes. It doesn't diminish his suffering, but it does offer him a new perspective, a way of understanding his experiences as part of something larger.
Okay, so we've got the power of choice and the interconnectedness of all things. What's the third secret?
The third secret is acceptance.
Acceptance. That's a tough one.
It is, especially when you're dealing with those deep emotional wounds. But the elder explains that true healing can only begin when we acknowledge and accept our pain, our flaws, our past. It's not about condoning or minimizing our experiences, but about making space for them.
Right, allowing ourselves to feel the full range of our emotions.
Exactly, without judgment or resistance.
So it's about facing those uncomfortable feelings head on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because, as the elder suggests, running from our pain only gives it more power over us.
Okay, so with 3 secrets down, what's the 4th secret?
The 4th secret is the concept of surrendering to a higher power to find solace in the present moment.
Surrendering to a higher power, that's a big one.
It is. It requires a certain level of faith,
Yeah.
a willingness to let go of that need to control everything.
And that's got to be a huge challenge for Andahar, this hardened warrior who's used to fighting his way through life's obstacles.
It is a challenge for him. But the elder isn't talking about blind faith or passive resignation. He's suggesting that there's this deeper wisdom at play, this force that's guiding us and supporting us even when we don't realize it.
Okay, so it's about trusting that there's something bigger than ourselves.
Yes, and that when we surrender to that force, when we let go of our need to control everything, we open ourselves up to a deeper sense of peace and acceptance.
So it sounds like these first four secrets are really laying the groundwork for a major shift in Andahar's perspective.
They are. He's starting to question his beliefs, to consider the possibility that there might be a different way of being in the world.
And as he grapples with these concepts, he's also forced to confront his past, to relive the events that led to his current state.
Those flashbacks are so powerful, so visceral. We see Andahar's deep love for Narcia, his joy at their engagement, and then the utter devastation of her death.
It's a stark reminder that even the strongest warriors are vulnerable to heartbreak and loss.
Absolutely, and it's in those moments of vulnerability that we really begin to understand the root of Andahar's suffering.
His guilt, his self-blame.
Exactly. He blames himself for Narcia's death, convinced that he could have prevented it if he had been a better warrior, a more attentive lover, a more courageous man.
And that guilt is eating him alive, fueling his self-destructive behavior.
It is, and it's preventing him from truly healing, from moving on with his life.
So it sounds like he's got a lot of work to do.
He does, but through the Elder's guidance, through the lens of these 7 secrets, he's starting to chip away at that armor he's built around himself. He's starting to see those beliefs as distortions, as mental traps that are keeping him stuck in a cycle of suffering.
He's opening himself up to new possibilities.
He is.
Okay, so these next few secrets build on the foundation of the first 4.
Yeah.
We talked about choice and interconnectedness, acceptance and surrender.
Right.
And now with the 5th secret, it's all about understanding your true nature.
Yeah. What do you think about that one?
Well, it's like the elder is saying, Andahar, you're not just a warrior. You're so much more than that.
Right.
You have this unique purpose, these talents and abilities that you're meant to share with the world.
But of course, Andahar struggles with that.
Of course he does. He's so caught up in his pain
Right.
that he can't see past it.
And that's where the 6th secret comes in.
Okay.
Letting go of the past. It's like these 2 secrets are connected.
How so?
Well, because how can you really understand who you are if you're constantly carrying the weight of the past?
Yeah, that makes sense.
The elder says that dwelling on past mistakes, regrets, all those what-ifs, it just keeps you trapped.
In a cycle of suffering.
Exactly. True freedom comes from releasing the past.
Okay.
Embracing the present moment.
But that's got to be so hard for Andahar.
It is. He's so attached to his pain.
Right, it's all he's known for so long.
But the elder encourages him to try, experiment with different ways to let go of those negative thoughts and emotions.
So he's being asked to let go of everything he thought defined him.
Yeah, his identity, his past.
Well, that's huge.
It is a radical shift.
And then that brings us to the 7th secret.
The present moment.
Finding solace in the present moment.
Right.
This one's really interesting because it's like it challenges the whole idea of seeking something outside of ourselves.
Like that constant striving.
Right, and the elder says that true happiness isn't something you achieve in the future.
Yeah.
It's something you experience right here, right now.
It's about being present.
Exactly. But that's such a hard concept to grasp.
Especially in a world that tells us we need more. But the elder tells Andahar to just stop chasing happiness. He says it's already within you in this moment.
But Andahar's so used to fighting and struggling.
Yeah.
He can't imagine finding peace just by being.
But the elder encourages him to practice quieting his mind, connecting with that inner stillness.
And does it work?
It does. He starts to experience these moments of peace and clarity.
Wow.
These glimpses of a reality where he's not defined by his past.
It's like he's finally starting to climb those mountains.
And as he gets closer to the summit, he starts to see the world differently.
How so?
He notices the beauty in simple things, the kindness of strangers.
He's not consumed by his pain anymore.
No, he's starting to feel a sense of wonder and awe at the world around him.
It's a beautiful transformation. And then he has this realization.
What is it?
He remembers that night in the volcanic landscape.
With the caped being.
Yeah, the one who tempted him to take a life.
Right.
And he realizes that the man he was supposed to kill.
Who he thought was Edgar Fligroin.
Exactly. It wasn't actually Fligroin at all.
Who was it? Then this is crazy.
It was a manifestation of his own darkness. Wow. Like a projection of his inner demons.
So the whole encounter was a test.
Yeah. A trial to help him see the depths of his own darkness and the power of his choices.
It's like everything was orchestrated.
Exactly. And in that moment, he's just overwhelmed with awe.
Yeah.
He sees how the entire journey has been leading him to this point.
It all makes sense now.
It does. And he realizes that his suffering, even though it's been so painful, It's been a gift, a catalyst for growth.
So he's not a victim anymore.
No, he sees his experiences through the lens of possibility and purpose.
That's amazing.
And as he's preparing to leave the desert community,
Yeah.
he has this final conversation with the elder, seeking guidance for what's next.
Okay.
And this is where the true nature of the mountains of Templetron is revealed.
I knew it. This is what it's all been leading up to.
It is. The elder explains that the mountains aren't a physical place. They're a state of being,
I see.
a realm of consciousness that exists within each of us.
So it's not about reaching a destination.
Exactly. It's about the journey, the inner transformation, the shifts in perspective.
That's beautiful.
And Andahar realizes he doesn't need the box anymore.
Right.
It was a symbol of his quest, but now he's ready to let go.
He's letting go of the past.
He buries the box in the sand and embraces the freedom of the present moment.
And what about Elar?
Well, their bond has really deepened throughout this journey.
Of course, they've been through so much together.
And when Andahar decides to leave the desert community,
Yeah.
Elar chooses to go with him.
Wow.
It's a testament to their connection,
It really
a
is.
reminder that we're not meant to walk this path alone.
So what do we take away from Andahar's story?
What resonated most with you?
That idea that the mountains of Templetron are within each of us.
Yeah,
That we don't have to travel to some far-off land to find peace and enlightenment.
it's an inner journey.
It-
And as Andahar walks off into the sunset, we're left with this question.
What's that?
What would it take for us to unlock our own inner mountains?
To experience that same peace and connection.
Yeah, it's a question worth exploring.
It definitely is. It's a journey we can all embark on.
And just like Andahar, we might find that the greatest treasures are found in the steps we take along the way.
Not just at the destination.
Exactly.